million naira afterwards to let him off, avoid going to jail after his lawyer had pleaded that he was a senior citizen. He had a health challenge and all. So, well, that the court should tamper justice with mercy, and then he was awarded the fine, that which he paid. Now, people are saying if you're charging or giving a fine for someone who is being held account for over 240 million naira money laundering charge, then it shouldn't be 13 million naira. That's something that he could just pay at any time and walk. We'll bring in Barrister MOC Eniola. Moses Eniola is a legal practitioner and public affairs analyst as well. He's joining us this morning. Good morning, Barrister Eniola. Good to have you join us.
In the program.
Good to have you. Now let's talk about this. I'll bring in my callers shortly. I'll bring you in shortly. Callers, just hold on a little. Let's have this chat with MOC Eniola. Now, Barrister Eniola, first of all, what came to mind when you saw that you read about the conviction of Doyin Okupe? Mind you, this case had been in court since 2019. For lots of Nigerians, it seems like it just happened suddenly. But the EFCC has been prosecuting this since 2019 before Justice Ijoma Ojukwu. Yes. What do you make? What first came to mind when you read about the conviction?
Well, nothing at all came to mind. Being a participant in the bar and an active person at that, I understand the judicial process. And everywhere in the world, there is a process to obtain justice. You first start with filings, you go to the mentions, and then the hearings, and then the case where arguments will be made, where the trials commences, cross-examination, re-examination, and then the cases will be closed by the prosecution and by the defense, and then the court will reserve its judgment, the court will deliver judgment. My brother, this thing is not a two-bones business. Sometimes it can take over a year, even when it is expedited. So it's normal. It's really, really, even for instance, some other matters, like you see the sentencing of Joshua Chibidari or the former governor of Taraba State, Jolly Yene. Those cases as well did not take 2 months from start to conclusion. Those cases also took real time, from start to conclusion. So that's just the reality of our judicial process in Nigeria.
Now, but I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Barrister Tony earlier. The fact that, if you follow the case, the former NSA, that's the National Security Advisor, Sambo Dasuki, was a party to this case, and he wasn't found guilty. Counts 1 to 33. The judge says, no, look, nothing. There's nothing here. But then Doyin Okupe gets a conviction. You say Nigerians are saying, why would the person who received the money from the NSA be convicted, while the NSA who gave the money wasn't convicted of a violation of the Money Laundering Act?
Yeah. So if you look at the fundamental rights of every individual as enshrined by Chapter 4 of the Constitution of Nigeria, it tells us clearly that an accused person is innocent until proven guilty by competent courts of law. And if you look at that side by side with the Evidence Act and then our Criminal Administration of Justice System laws, you will see that the responsibility, the onerous task is not on the defense. The responsibility of making that proof clear, not in balance of probabilities, but beyond reasonable doubt, rests squarely on the shoulders of the prosecution. So I think it's the prosecution that we should be asking this question. We should be asking EFCC why count 1 to count 33 went down the drain. You see, it's not enough to proffer a charge. It doesn't stop at proffering a charge. You have to also take out time to prove beyond reasonable doubt, because if the guy is presumed innocent. Colonel Dasiki is presumed innocent. It's your responsibility to prove him guilty. So if the prosecution have not sufficient facts, to achieve that, it would be difficult. We've had so many cases where the prosecution have to even withdraw so some of these charges. Sometimes these charges are even put aside because of defects and some technicalities. So it's not. Unfortunately, I'm not the best person to answer that question. I wish the EFCC are around to answer why they did not package their case to the point that it would scale the requirements of law.
Well, I like how you put this, because I was reading the paragraph to the listener, and I was hoping that they were going to be able to understand what happened there, because from that paragraph it says the judge didn't find the defendants not guilty, or found the defendants not guilty in counts 1 to 33 on the grounds that the prosecution failed to establish the charge of money laundering and criminal breach of trust and corruption against the NSA. Now, looking at that, and what you just said, just to put that in perspective for the listener who may not understand, it would mean that the EFCC didn't do a good job at prosecuting counts 1 to 33. Do you think that could be deliberate, seeing as how Doyin Okupe is the campaign DG of the Labour Party? Some people are attributing that to some of the reasons why count 33 to 34 to 59 was properly prosecuted, while counts 1 to 33 wasn't well established.
Yeah, but again, my brother, I with all sense of responsibility, we were taught and we practice law from the point of view that justice, when it's ready, must be served. And if you look at the symbol of justice, you see that the Lady Justiciar is a blindfolded symbol, depicting how the disposition of the bench is supposed to be, and every judge, which Justice Ojukwu is one of, closes their eyes to your identity, closes their eyes. I've read cases where judges have had to sentence their own children, and this is what makes the profession above reproach, because there's a rule that guides the professional conduct, So personally, I'm not a party per se, but from what I read, on the matter, because when it was flying everywhere, people say, "Oh, it's because of this, it's because of that." I said, I don't think so. I don't think so. Of course, as a person, Doyin Okupe should have known better. If you look at an excerpt from the judgment, the Honorable Justice Ojukwu said that it was not compulsory, because apart from giving leniency, they were saying that he received it by the order of the dead president, Jonathan. And look at this. The court is saying there was no order that insisted that money should be given in cash. Because according to the Money Laundering Act, 5 million for individuals, 10 million for institutions above this amount should go through a financial institution. And Doyin Okupe is not a financial institution where we can say, okay, why will the person receiving, be charged with sentence while the person giving is sort of exonerated. And I answered that question just before now, that the responsibility for proving beyond reasonable doubt, not around preponderances of evidences or probabilities, but beyond reasonable doubt, fell, obviously, in favor of Dasuki. And since the court was lenient enough to grant an option of fine, I think Donyo Kupe should book a Thanksgiving Mass this Sunday in the nearest cathedral.
Okay, I'm going to you talking more a little on whether or not the EFCC would be filing fresh charges against the NSA or even appealing the judgment. But I'll bring in a caller first. Hello, good morning.
Thank you, my friend. Good morning once again.
Good morning
to Mr. Nola. Quickly, the same judge that acquitted Okupe of count 1 to 25 is the same judge that convicted him on the rest offense. And if anybody is saying that it's because Okupe has a political relationship with the Labour Party, that's why he was sentenced, I think that person is not fair. It's not saying the truth. And on the issue of why NSA himself was not convicted, I think we are forgetting with time. This same NSA, the aggregate of the money that was mismanaged was put together when this government came on board. And this same NSA we're talking about today was in prison for over 2 years. Maybe the Nigerians have forgotten. He was in prison for the aggregate of all the money he disbursed illegally. And by people coming out to say that NSA was not convicted, no, the case is in court, but he was in prison for over 2 years. That fact, Nigerians should take note of that. Maybe we have forgotten so soon.
Okay.
And the Donyo Kupe is just one of the people that benefited illegally from the disbursement from NSA office. And let me also remind Nigerians that that communication and the owner, Dr. C, was also shy. But the court, just like the lawyer said, the judge is blindfolded. He set him free, that he was not guilty of any of the offense. And some other people have been discharged. And this man is lucky, just like the judge said, he was lucky. If he was to be disgraced, he would have been sentenced without any option. And even yesterday, the judge made a pronouncement that it should not be taken to custody because of that fact that they recognize his position. But if it is a common man, would that be taken? And two, the lawyer pleaded for leniency on the fact that he was having health issue. Does Donyo Kupe look like somebody that you see? Is he not the one going crisscrossing all the country that is campaigning? Let me leave it there.
Thank you very much.
If we want Nigeria to be good, all of us must support the truth.
Thank you, Mayowa. Donyo Kupe's lawyer says he's sick and he's treating himself in the country and even outside the country. Well, leave that. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning.
Elder
Noja, you have 1 minute so we can wrap up.
Let me ask Brother Anthony. They say they can't bend the producers. Those judges were I think Canada did. Are they saying that those courts? Are they not transferred out? What are you telling us? We know what is going in Nigeria.
Okay.
And then they always talk now, say that it is in prison. That it is not in prison. It's the mind. The mind is different than prison. If you are talking, make you know what you are talking for.
All right,
thank you. Dr. Chu was acquitted by collecting that money. How many of the acquitted? Why should we be doing? I'm not a politician, and I don't support any party. It should be sincere to ourselves.
All right.
Those judges who are acquitted Canada Day, all of them, they are transferred within 3 days.
All right.
And then you are telling me that you can't do that.
Thank you very much, Elder Noja. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Abdullahi. 1 minute, let's hear you.
Okay, sir. Actually, sir, does not belong to any party, but what they have done to this equity is totally injustice. Because I'm very sure if this man belongs to the party, they could have not touched him anymore. Because he is in another party, and maybe they are looking for the popularity of his or the party is working for. That's why they have just arrested him or took him to jail. I'm not belong to that party or any other party, but unfortunately, I know they are just so selfish by doing so. There are many corrupt people in the ruling party who have done worse than him.
Okay.
But they are untouchable.
All right.
They are just even working with them with their support at this moment. But unfortunately, they have just go against this man because of selfish and political interest.
Thank you,
So we have to
Abdullahi.
do just so that we can see good in this country.
Thank you.
very
Appreciate you calling in. Mr. Niola, let me ask you, do you think or do you see the EFCC filing fresh charges or even appealing this judgment?
Sincerely, I don't see a reason why the FCC should appeal the matter, because they have a huge truckload of cases that in the shelf to handle. But at the same time, let's see if they have good reason to, why not they should. But I just want to quickly say that there's never been a time, because of the current situation of the country, where you sit down and start analyzing the rulings or the judgments of the court, because you feel that this was not given, it was not delivered the way it suits you and what have you. I mean, some people say, oh, there are other people on the streets that are in APC that have not been sent to trial and what have you. Okay, well, if you have facts against the person in Party A or Party B, and you feel it's compelling, there are so many platforms that are available. You can write a petition to the AFCC, which they receive tons and tons of petitions every day. You can go and blow whistle if you someone has hid money inside, suck away, and the whistleblower provision is available for you. So you don't have to just start sitting down and assuming that, oh, this is witch hunting and what have you. I understand the current temperature in Nigeria, but at the same time, we need to reinforce our institutions and ensure that they are not, their credibility is not impaired, or their validity is not put into the mold.
Very well said. Moses Eniola, Esquire, legal practitioner and public affairs analyst. Thank you so much for talking with us this morning. I really appreciate your thoughts on the program.
Yeah, thank you so much, my brother.
Thank you.
I
appreciate you. And well, it's time for us to drop the conversation this morning. Thank you to every one of you who participated, who has sent in your thoughts or even shared thoughts with us on the program this morning. I really appreciate you. You are my MVPs. Those of you who just sat back to listen, what can I do without you? Thank you so much for being there. And Martha, the only Martha that matters in our matter, is in the studio. Martha, good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Good morning.
What's happening? I like the floral. Is it the floral fabric or whatever they call it? Yeah, it looks good. So what's happening? It's Christmas around the corner. Yeah. Are you planning anything?
Absolutely nothing.
Are
just
you
to
serious?
Eat. Yeah. There's someone that knows how to cook, has a lot of food and meat in their house, and invites me over.
Okay, so who are you going to invite? You're not going to invite anyone. You only want to be invited. That's not fair. That's not fair. What's happening on the show today?
On my show?
Yeah.
It's all vibes out there. So just hang in there. Do not go anywhere.
It's all vibes. There's going to be games as well. So keep it locked here on your radio experience. You can count on. My name is Nacho Prince. Business News is up next. Right after that, Martha That Matters will take over the airways. Keep it locked here.